bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but yeah, we still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that reach the Father. Yeah, we chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but yeah, we still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that on a mission to snatch my people straight about that fire. On a mission to snatch the lamb out the mouth of a lion. If you notice he ain't in the fold, leave the 99. Just say that brother or sister somehow we left behind. Should I leave the 99 sheep to go back for the one? I mean, that's still 99 and that's more than some. Yeshua came for the lost sheep, let's get him young. He might be seeking a change like the prodigal son. Wise as a serpent, homeless as doves, that's how we played. Blocking these fiery arrows, strap on my shoulder faith. Many are called, few are chosen, what the scriptures say. Jeremiah 31:21, the ship's on the way, crossing the Jordan, still waters, we want no trouble that day. Matthew 7:13, enter through the straight gates, broad is the path of destruction, but narrow is the way. Jeremiah 31, for the new covenant we shall wait. Hebrews 8, yeah, Hebrews 8, for the new covenant we shall wait. All praise to the Most High Yahweh Elohim, praise Yah. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but yeah, we still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that reach the Father. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but yeah, we still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that reach the Father.
Started from the bottom, now we heal. You already know what it is. Giving praise to the God of Israel. Yeah, the truth has been revealed. Even though a lot of masses live, the whole world they been deceived for real. Read Revelation chapter 12. Time will tell who will prevail. 400 year captivity. But we coming out of here. Prophecy been fulfilled. Gotta live righteously. Yeah, we'll see who is real and who will be out. Cause of fear, cause of doubt. Who will hear and believe our report. Time to resort back to the sword. Yeah, the mighty one through the sun. Fight a run. We gon' fight. If it is real, Ephesians 6 and 12. Yeah, we battle where the evil dwell. Hell is just a grace. So yeah, you know we walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Who shall we feel? Come on. Cause salvation is near. Even though it's a war going on, gotta keep marching on. This is for my pills. Either have the ill heal. It's time to go home, for real.
Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but Yahweh still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that reach the Father. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but Yahweh still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that reach the Father. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but Yahweh still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that reach the Father. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but Yahweh still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that reach the Father. On a mission to snatch my people straight about that fire. On a mission to snatch the lamb out the mouth of a lion. If you notice he ain't in the fold, leave the 99. Just say that brother or sister somehow we left behind. Should I leave the 99 sheep to go back for the one? I mean, that's still 99 and that's more than some. Yeshua came for the lost sheep, let's get him young. He might be seeking a change like the prodigal son. Wise as a serpent, homeless as doves, that's how we played. Blocking these fiery arrows, strap on my shoulder faith. Many are called, few are chosen, what the scriptures say. Jeremiah 31:21, the ship's on the way, crossing the Jordan, still waters, we want no trouble that day. Matthew 7:13, enter through the straight gates, broad is the path of destruction, but narrow is the way. Jeremiah 31, for the new covenant we shall wait. Hebrews 8, yeah, Hebrews 8, for the new covenant we shall wait. All praise to the Most High Yahweh Elohim, praise Yah. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but Yahweh still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that reach the Father. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but Yahweh still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that
started from the bottom, now we here. You already know what it is. Giving praise to the God of Israel. The truth has been revealed, even though a lot of man said live the whole world. They been deceived for real. Read Revelation chapter 12. Time will tell who will prevail 400 year captivity. But we coming out of here. Prophecy been fulfilled. Gotta live righteously. Yeah, we'll see who is real and who will be out. Cause of fear, cause of doubt. Who will hear and believe our report. Time to resort back to the source. Yeah, the mighty one through the sun. Fight a run, we gon' fight. If it is real, Ephesians 6 and 12. Yeah, we battle where the evil dwell. Hell is just a grace. So yeah, you know we walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Who shall we feel? Come on. Cause salvation is near, even though it's a war going on. Gotta keep marching on. This is for my pills. He that has the ear, hear. It's time to go home. For real.
Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but Yahweh still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way to reach the Father. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but Yahweh still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way to reach the Father. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but Yahweh still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way to reach the Father. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but Yahweh still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way to reach the Father. On a mission to snatch my people straight about that fire. On a mission to snatch the lamb out the mouth of a lion. If you notice he ain't in the fold, leave the 99. Just say that brother or sister somehow we left behind. Should I leave the 99 sheep to go back for the one? I mean, that's still 99 and that's more than some. Yeshua came for the lost sheep, let's get him young. He might be seeking a change like the prodigal son. Wise as a serpent, homeless as doves, that's how we played. Blocking these fiery arrows, strap on my shoulder faith. Many are called, few are chosen, what the scriptures say. Jeremiah 31:21, the ship's on the way, crossing the Jordan, still waters, we want no trouble that day. Matthew 7:13, enter through the straight gates, broad is the path of destruction, but narrow is the way. Jeremiah 31, for the new covenant we shall wait. Hebrews 8, yeah, Hebrews 8, for the new covenant we shall wait. All praise to the Most High Yahweh Elohim, praise Yah. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but Yahweh still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way to reach the Father. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we.
Shalom Facebook, Shalom YouTube. Welcome to our history class. Today we are still in the law book. We're in Deuteronomy 28. But before we get started, does anyone have any questions? No question? Deuteronomy 28 is a very interesting chapter because if there's anything that points its finger at us in the Bible, it's Deuteronomy 28.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want you to listen very carefully and compare what you are reading to Black people today. Okay? Let's go ahead and get started. Again, we are in Deuteronomy chapter 28.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that Yahweh thy Elohim will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim.
Now, listen carefully what he's saying here. In verse 1, it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim, to observe to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that Yahweh thy Elohim will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Now, we know that Christian will never read this because it doesn't pertain to them. This is very important to see who he's talking to about this. Now, when it says you have to listen to the voice of Yahweh the Elohim, well, the Mashiach said you've never seen his form nor heard his voice, seen his shape nor heard his voice. So how are we to listen to the voice of Yahweh when we've never heard Yahweh's voice? Read. Just read. When you read this book, you're reading Yahweh's talking to you. And when you do what the book tells you to do, you're doing what Yahweh wants you to do. You're not going to hear Yahweh's voice phonetically, but in the language that we read, right? So in this particular verse, he said, you're going to set us on high above all nations of the earth. All our fathers had to do was to keep his commandment. Simple as that. Go ahead, Brother Seven. Read that verse again, along with verse 2.
So start at 1.
Yeah, start at 1. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that Yahweh thy Elohim will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim.
So you will be blessed if they kept the commandments. Now, you got to look at it. If Yahweh did not want us to keep his commandments, then why did he preserve them to this very day? These commandments were written down thousands of years ago, and they're still here. So there has to be a purpose why they're still here. Why Yahweh did not let those Gentiles, those Christians, leave this out? It was for us. It's for these days and times, so we can see for ourselves. We can hear for ourselves Yahweh speaking to us, right? So he's speaking. Moshe is saying these things. This is what Yahweh wants you to do, and if you do these things, you're going to be blessed. Go ahead, Brother Seth.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 3. Blessed shall thou be in the city, and blessed shall thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Blessed shall thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shall thou be when thou goest out. Yahweh shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way, and flee before thee 7 ways. Yahweh shall command a blessing upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all that thou settest thine hand unto, and he shall bless thee in the land which Yahweh thy Elohim giveth thee. Yahweh shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, as he hath sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of Yahweh thy Elohim, and walk in his ways. And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of Yahweh, and they shall be afraid of thee.
Again, that's who we're called by, Yahweh's name. Now, we can prove that, can't we?
Mm-hmm.
You understand that, Mother? Mother. Yeah, we're called by his name. Can you prove that? Huh? You want to write this down? It's in Numbers chapter 6. I just got one verse in here, but in Numbers chapter 6, that's where Yahweh gives us his name. In Numbers chapter 6, verse 22 to verse 27. Verse 22 to verse 27. Now that coincides by verse 10. And Deuteronomy 28, verse 10, it says, all people of the earth shall See that thou art called by the name of Yahweh, and they shall be afraid of you. You make a note of that, Sister E? All right. So go ahead, Brother Second.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 11. And Yahweh shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, in the land which Yahweh sware unto thy fathers to give thee. Yahweh shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven, to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thine hands. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. And Yahweh shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath, if that thou hearken unto the commandments of Yahweh thy Elohim, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them, and thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods to serve them.
Now, the main commandment of all the commandments for our fathers to break, that was the main commandment that Yahweh did not allow our fathers to break, the worshiping other gods. Yahweh jealous. He said, you should have no other gods before me, right? That was the very first commandment, let you know this one, number one thing, I will not accept is you worshiping another God. You may do all the rest of the stuff, you may have idols, you might do all the rest of these things, murder somebody. But when you start worshiping other gods, now you're on the bad side. Yeah.
Do you think India is a nation that worship so many gods, that got so many temples with all the idols? I seen a video, all these different idols and sculptures and whatever, all over the temple, inside the temple, on the ceiling. You think they're the only nation that worship the most God, their gods?
I don't know. I don't know how many gods people worship.
Right.
I know that the Arab used to worship 360 gods.
So yeah.
So I know a few of the Indian gods, but I don't know them all. And I think the Indians, they believe in reincarnation, don't they?
I think you're right. Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, so I don't think their belief system is nothing like ours.
No.
But yeah, I think they worship a goddess or a god, and that uh, uh, what they call the collider, accelerated collider. That they supposed to collide atoms.
Well, that's in Switzerland.
Yeah,
Switzerland.
that's in Switzerland, and both in Switzerland and France. And it's supposed to open up some type of doorway to some other dimension. But outside the building, they have a goddess of destruction. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen one.
Yeah, it's a goddess of destruction. Have you seen it, Elder?
Yes, sir.
It's an Indian goddess of destruction. And they had an image of it in lights one year in New York City. So I don't know what they were trying to tell people by putting that image of the goddess of destruction. But it's that same goddess. I forgot what they call it. I know Facebook and YouTube can tell me, but I don't know why that Super Collider had that image of that goddess of destruction outside their building.
India, they getting a lot of influence in our country now.
Do they?
Just realized the director of every Dallas came
Yeah,
in.
Cash Patel.
They got a lot of influence. You got people today, like I talked to the same woman today about the thing she got on her neck. She wanted to get permanently tattooed, like the rest of the God. You know what I mean? When people talk about karma,
Yeah.
they're thinking, you do good, do bad, but karma is directly related to reincarnation. So if you believe in karma, you can't believe in a resurrection.
So that's an Indian term, isn't it?
Yes, it's a karma. When you talk about karma, that directly dealing with reincarnation.
Yeah, you see it. You hear it everywhere now.
Incarnation can't believe in resurrection. Believe in karma.
Yeah, well, They just mix it all together, man. Just have a potpourri of different types of words.
Yeah, I think most most of our people, when they use the word karma, uh, they associate it with uh, vengeance,
Payback. Yeah.
payback.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen it used that way, like it's something somebody deserved
Hmm.
for whatever they did wrong. Yeah. Were you gonna say something, Mother?
Yeah. In Isaiah 43:1, don't you talk about the name that we
Well, now,
the name that the Yahweh? Isn't it in Isaiah 43:1 too?
Isaiah 43:1. We name after Yahweh.
yeah, that's in Isaiah 44,
Verse 44.
verse 6. Some people will call themselves by Jacob and surname themselves by Israel. Is that what you're talking about?
I was talking about Isaiah 43:1.
43 and what? That they are called by his name. Is that what that says? Isaiah 43 and 1. I have created thee. It says, but now thus saith Yahweh, and that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel. Fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. What?
What you're saying is Deuteronomy 28.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse uh, 10. Well, what did it say here? But now thus saith Yahweh, created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel. Fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. So what name is it referring to then, right? Is it Yahweh's name or his name? I mean, Israel's name, right? Well, let's see. Um, this is 43. No, I'm looking at something else in 43. Um, Yahweh named us Israel. So he knows us by name as a nation, not as a wife in this point here. All right, because that's the point of him giving us his name, so we're married to him. Okay? All right, Brother Stephanie.
Was her name Kaling?
Uh-huh.
The God is Kaling? Was that the God?
Spell it.
Kali?
Yeah, that's her. Yeah, she kind of in a dance position.
Giving all.
Yeah, that's her. The God is a destruction. And it's in front of that super collider in Switzerland. And it's supposed to open up a dimension somewhere. It was going pretty big at one time. All of a sudden, it just stopped. You didn't hear nothing about it. Yeah, so they say they open up a dimension, they can't close it. So some kind of aliens came to that bad boy.
Mm.
Yeah. These white folks ain't got nothing better to do, bro. We got too much time and too much money. Go ahead, brother.
Uh, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
Now, look at the difference between the blessings and the curse. Now, being a curse is something pretty self-explanatory. It's not a very good thing to be cursed, but it is a good thing to be blessed. So you are profiting from being blessed, but you're not profiting from being cursed. Now, this is the power that Yahweh has over us. He doesn't have this kind of, he doesn't deal with other people like this.
Mm.
We're the only people that he curses if we refuse to keep these commandments. So you look at the condition of black people today, you wonder what's wrong with them, right? Let's see. Go ahead, Brother Stephen. He
Deut-
said, curse should be thy basket, and curse thy store, and curse shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. All that's going to be cursed. Go ahead, Stephen.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 19. Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. Yahweh shall send upon thee curse and vexation and rebuke in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me.
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee until he have consumed thee from off the land, whither thou go up to possess it. Yahweh shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. Yahweh shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust. From heaven shall it come down upon thee until thou be destroyed. Yahweh shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shalt be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And thy carcass shall be meat unto all fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. Yahweh will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the hemorrhoids, and with the scab, and with the itch, whereof thou canst not be healed.
In verse 26, now understand something. These curses did not all come at the same time. They came over generations of the children of Israel. It says in verse 26, and thy carcass shall be meat unto all fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. That has happened. Now, my question is, when did it happen? Huh? Slavery? No, it happened long before slavery. Now, they left our bodies hanging from trees, true. But this happened once before, but it's worse. Now, they don't have the detail of what happened, but if you do a little research and see what not really, all you got to do is go to the Apocrypha. And in the Apocrypha, it tells you how the Assyrians treated the children of Israel.
Okay.
They slaughtered them and would not allow anybody to bury it. I think that's in the book of Tobit. Yeah, that was in the book of Tobit. So that you get an idea of what we're talking about here as part of those curses of the children of Israel, because they're bad at worshiping other gods. So in the book of Tobit, it tells you the situation of the children of Israel, that they could not even bury the bodies because the Assyrians would allow them. Go ahead, Brother Stephen.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 27. Yahweh will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the hemorrhoids, and with the scab, and with the itch, whereof thou canst not be healed. Yahweh shall smite thee with madness, and blindness, and astonishment of heart, and thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shall not gather the grapes thereof.
In verse 30 it says, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Well, we had that during slavery. Because a wife didn't mean nothing to a slave, to a man's slave. He go into a man's wife, even though she's a slave, he still took advantage of his wife. Yeah. And Dad would say something about it. Go ahead, Brother Stephen.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 31.
Mm-hmm.
Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them.
Now, what this shows us is that our fathers used to be farmers and herdsmen and shepherds. So that would be the same thing that we'll have to be when we go back into the land, because he said that he's going to bless us with the rain in its due season. So what would city dwellers be looking for rain for? So we're not going to be dwelling in the cities like we're dwelling in now. All the streets are paved over. You're not going to have that in the kingdom. You're either going to be walking or riding an ass or in a cart. But as far as what we got now, you can't grow anything on cement or in cement. So we're looking at this that we are descended from people that lived on farms. But we haven't been taught how to live on a farm anymore because white people got all the farmland. Now you got a few farmers still out there, but you can't really find them. They're real small. So at least they still have farms. Some people got farming experience, the land experience, but folks like me who grew up in the city, projects, I don't know nothing about farming. I have to learn. Just like y'all gonna have to learn, because y'all ain't no farmers neither. I see you looking at me. So she grew up on a farm. Yeah, so she knows she got game. She gonna be ready when we get over there. You just tell folks, Ella, do not stand behind that horse. Go ahead, man.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand.
So who's this happened to? Us, because you look at the fact that we were sold to these Christians over here in America, and first of all, they have been taken captive and placed in those slave castles, and we were slaves to the Africans at the time, but we couldn't do anything about our children being sold to these white people over here. We had no power. We were slaves when they sold us off as slaves. Go ahead, Brother Stephen.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 33, I'm sorry. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always, so that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. Yahweh shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with a sore box that cannot be healed from the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head. Yahweh shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither Yahweh shall lead thee.
Look around. Do us, that's it. Nobody but us. People scratch their head at us. What kind of people are these? Right? He said in verse 37, thou shalt become an astonishment. People astonished at us. A proverb, people talk about us, and a byword, we call ourselves by different words among all nations, whither Yahweh shall lead thee. Now, again, this is a generational thing. So it didn't happen to them back in these days, but it happened to us in our day. We were, to this very day still carry the Gentile surname. But Yahweh showing us, yeah, that ain't what I want to call you. So you surname yourself Israel, and and people had mocked us, showing the nations how foolish we can be, and we helped that vision of us with those comedians, even that during the black and white film era, where they could not accept a serious black man playing a serious role. So all of them had to be comedic, had to make these white folks laugh if you want to be seen in the movies. So you got all those stars like I know y'all don't know these people, but Stephen Fetcher,
Yeah.
Mantan Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you had those type of comedians back in them days making them white people laugh, but that's all the work they can get. So but it was a thing of survival. You black people don't normally think in terms of getting in the movies, but those men were bold to try to get into those movies, and some of the women were bold also. Y'all remember Mons Mabley?
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel so bad now. But yeah, I remember them old black and white movies of her and all those old black movie stars and actresses. Uh, that was the best we could do. Being overly uh, comedic in the role that they played, so they had their own comedic personality. So people would always, when they see Stephen Fetcher, he'd always be slow moving, talking slow. And I find it interesting that he called his name Stephen Fetcher. That's a sentence. But nevertheless, he was famous. You know, he did what he had to do. So he paved the way for future black stars. So they can't look back and be ashamed of that. Those people in the movies, they can't look back because they paved the way for them. They paid the price. The black stars of the day, they have it more easy
Mm-hmm.
than they did back in the black and white days. But they had to start somewhere. Not to say that that was a bad place for our people to be, but what else could they do? They wouldn't let them have farmland. They wouldn't have any farm. They took all the land away from them. So they had to find other avenues. That shows you the the intelligence of our people. That if you shut the door here, we'll open up a door over there. Some kind of way we're gonna survive. Go ahead, brother Stephen. Huh?
I don't know his name, but he was a star in his own movie, and the movie theater won't let him in because of segregate Jim Crow. Songs of the South. He was the star. He was the star of the movie, black guy.
Oh yeah?
Singing, he was singing to the cartoons, and then Walt
Oh yeah,
Disney,
they wouldn't let him in?
right? So what Walt Disney did, he did some pull to make him get the Oscar. I think he was the first black man to receive an Oscar for that.
Well, I know that situation came up with Gone in the Wind. When the black woman, she
Hattie,
won an Oscar.
Hattie, Hattie McDaniel.
Hattie McDaniel. Yeah. But they wouldn't let her into the Oscars. And they wouldn't let her stay at the hotel. This is in Atlanta, where Gone in the Wind premiered. And they were all staying at the hotel, but they wouldn't let Hattie McDaniel stay there until what's his name? Rhett Butler, who played Rhett Butler. Clark Gable. Clark Gable forced them people to let her stay at the hotel. Yeah, so it was pretty bad back in the day, man. You was a star, but you wasn't good enough to be in a hotel.
You know, they had those people like John Wayne, Gary Cooper, Gregory Peck, the other one we used to like, what's his name? Ed Buchanan, one of them folks. Yul Brynner, one we used to laugh at all the time. Those people were stunt segregationists. They was member of a conservative organization.
Right.
And John Wayne and all them people say, no, you're not going to appear on the stage with me. Not even being a serving position. They won't just come there. A lot of those people that we used to look at and admire those, say, oopsie. talented white people. But they hated Jake Gutty. Elvis Presley, you can throw him in that bunch. All of them.
Yeah, no, man, but that's what this is all about here.
Yeah.
Everybody hates us.
And then you had one, who was that? I forget who he was. He was playing both sides. He supported the civil rights movement, but behind the scenes, he was part of the segregationist movement. I forget who that guy was.
I remember John Wayne did play in a movie with a black guy.
Yeah.
The name was Willie Strode. Remember him?
Mhm.
Who shot, was it some of the Palance?
I know
Something
what
like
you're
that. Liberty Bell. Who shot Liberty Bell?
His saying was, he just played it off. He said, the only way we should accept black people when they get educated and they can be on our level.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
But I didn't see nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Because they had the image of all black people being ignorant and uneducated. So they just let you know you got to rise up to my level. I can't have you playing step and fetch it in any of my movies. I'm a Western hero.
But by the same thing, I know they get on in class, John Wayne hated Clint Eastwood because he said he basically niggerized Westerns with all that sex and stuff in it. John Wayne went for that. Clint Eastwood, when he came along with them Westerns, spaghetti Westerns, it was always about sex. And John Wayne,
Clint Eastwood?
Yeah, John Wayne didn't think that portrayed a true cowboy.
Yeah.
He didn't like Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, he didn't like Clint Eastwood, man. I imagine they liked each other. They could have been a good movie together, man. Because all of them got that persona. But nevertheless, they I don't know what Clint Eastwood thought about black people though.
He did say nigga a couple times. He said ninja a few times in the movie.
I mean, the ones that didn't say nothing, they were just tolerant. That's all. That's all you can say about it.
Go ahead, man.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 38.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shalt gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it. Thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, but shall neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes, for the worms shall eat them. Thou shalt have olive trees throughout all thy coast, but thou shalt not anoint thyself with the oil, for thine olive shall cast his fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity.
Mm-hmm.
All thy trees and the fruit of thy land shall the locusts consume. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
Is that not true now? It says in verse 43, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Look at them Chinese places around here where we have service. You got a Chinese restaurant up next door, and you got that Chinese beauty supply place down there, and they take their money and go back to their neighborhood. They take all our money, and them sisters come down there and spend all that money in their shops and get that nasty Chinese food, and they take the money home.
We got those Arabs now down there with their furniture store that little.
That's who got that now?
Yeah, they say, they told yourself they're from Lebanon, so I assume they Arabs. Yeah, they are. Got that little cheap furniture. They know where to put it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, so that cheap furniture because they know we ain't got no money. So they lower the price so we can afford it. And if you can afford that kind of furniture down there, that means it's not very good quality. It may look good, but it may not last very long. Yeah. Go ahead, Brother Stephen.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Because thou servest not Yahweh thy Elohim with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Again, in history, the history of man has have a yoke of iron around the neck.
Mm.
It's starting to point more and more to us. But how is it that we can see it and nobody else can? You can show this to black people all day long. It won't mean nothing to them. It should, though, because it identifies who you are. You don't have to call yourself black anymore. Because being called black, you're being called by a byword and a proverb. And look at your history here. You've been called by so many names that you don't even know who you are. You were called Negroes, you were called coloreds, you were called African American, Afro Americans, and nobody changes their ID like that but us. So it must mean something wrong with these people that they cannot settle on a name to call themselves by. That should set up a sign to people that, well, who are these people? Because right now, they are starting to speak a little bit louder and louder, saying, those cannot be the Jews over there in that land over there.
Mm.
They started raising their voice about it because they look how they carry themselves, how they blowing up them people over there in Palestine and taking their land. They didn't have that land before 1948. Now they done ran the people out of the land. So people are looking at that and speaking out against it, saying, and then I've been seeing videos of some of these of guy promoting a book called the Making of a Jew. Have you heard this?
No.
This is Edomite actually wrote this book. And what he said was that the people that are in the land of Israel are European.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any history of ever being in that land. And so what they've done is created themselves a people called the Jews.
Good point.
And they are still, now they're starting to admit that, yeah, we are secular Jews. We're religious Jews. We're not the real Jews.
Mm.
So then if they're not the real Jews, then where are they? Nobody asks where they at. If y'all not the real Jews, where are the real Jews at? Because the Jews are God's chosen people. So if you're not the one, then where are they? Here we are.
Well, just like me and you was talking about, the Jewish people now are more of a mindset than anything else.
That's all it is, bro.
Because these Gentiles got their spirit. It's all in America now.
Yeah.
Really all over the world. I told somebody that they never thought about that. And another thing you said, these Palestinians welcome them people in the land because claimed they were being persecuted, but everybody was kicking them out of the land because they see how filthy it was.
Yeah.
And look what they done to them people.
Yeah.
That's a good point, man.
Yeah.
Next time I talk to somebody about the Palestinians, I'm gonna tell them about it, but they just messed all over the people.
Yeah, no, man. And Dad ain't even say something about it. You see, Congress ain't saying nothing about it. The president ain't saying nothing about it.
That's power there, bro.
Yeah. When you got power over the president of the most powerful country on earth, that's power, bro. So he can't say nothing against it. So, and he knows it's wrong, but he's keeping it to himself. Just like all these white people now in America, keeping these things to themselves, all the senators, because the Congress has been bought. If you don't have any good financial connections, you cannot run in Congress. So you go the Edomite people go and offer you financial service, financial support, so you can run a campaign so you can get elected. But now you owe them. So anybody speaks against them, you make them lose their job. That's what Trump has done. Some of the people in Yale, I think in Yale, one of those white colleges, prestige college, had anti-Semitic scenarios going over there in the college. They didn't like those people. And so Trump cut off funding to them.
Mm-hmm. Trump. He don't care.
They got him in the back pocket, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ain't no hero.
That's a good point, Evan. President don't run nothing, Congress run this bad, all right?
Yeah.
And they're full of Edomites.
Yeah. But you can't say nothing against them. So that's an old saying: the people that you cannot speak against are the people that rule.
And I'm thinking about the civil rights movement. And you look at it and you think, man, look at our people, what they were doing. But it was Esau, the one that had the power to push that thing.
Yeah.
Our people didn't have nothing to do with it. They just been used.
Yeah. That's when they ran them off too. They saw that there's something wrong with this picture. They got all these Jews in here. They look like they're running everything. I mean, they backed them financially.
Mm-hmm.
They backed them with lawyers, legal experts during that civil rights movement. So it wasn't just Martin Luther King marching up and down the street. You had a whole bunch of Edomites supporting them. But when it got to a point where black people said, we don't want you around us no more. I didn't understand why at the first, but now I do. They saw something in the people that they didn't like. Yeah. First of all, I think they were the ones that convinced them to integrate with white people, just like they did.
Mm-hmm.
They ended to integrate with white people. That was their idea. So that's Martin Luther King fell for it. The rest of those civil rights workers fell for it, and that caused them all kinds of trouble. But that was Esau's way of trying to get us killed.
Mm-hmm.
And we were so ignorant, we were so naive that we listened to those people. Well, I imagine if they knew what we know now, they wouldn't have nothing to do with them people. Because they see what they're doing. White people have seen what they've been doing all along. But like I say, they used to do something about it, but they're scared to do something now. They could get in a lot of legal trouble and lose everything they got. They say, why go through the trouble? Plus, they couldn't get no help from nobody else because everybody else scared of them too. So, yeah, so the day that they get Yahweh destroy them people, it's the day that the whole world will rejoice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brother Sam.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle fly. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee neither grain, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy herd, until he have destroyed thee.
Mm-hmm.
And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trusted throughout all thy land. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which Yahweh thy Elohim has given thee.
Mm-hmm.
And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which Yahweh thy Elohim has given thee in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother and toward the wife of his bosom and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave, so that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he has nothing left him in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear. For she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in thy gates.
Now, how's this happen?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Not location.
Huh?
I wrote it down in my book.
You did what? You wrote it down in your book? What did you write down?
2 Kings.
2 Kings what?
That's it.
That,
You
wrote it down, didn't you?
I didn't put the
You didn't put the rest, you just put 2 Kings.
I think I was
It's
right
somewhere in
there.
2 Kings then, right?
The whole book there.
You gotta do better than that, bro.
I'm sorry.
What else?
Lamentation.
Oh, okay.
chapter 4, verse 10.
All right.
All right. Okay. Sister Eve, you get that? Did she sleep? Second Kings, actually, we're gonna go there. Second Kings chapter 6, verse 24 to verse 30. You want to write that down, man?
Yes, I do. 4.
Second Kings chapter 6, verse 24 to verse 30.
Yeah.
All right, let's go there right quick. Again, we're talking about there will be a common time that the children of Israel have to turn to cannibalism
Oh,
to survive. That's what we just read about here, that they would eat their own children. So we go to 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 24 to verse 38. You see what we're talking about. 34 to verse 30. 24 to verse 30.
2 Kings chapter 6, verse 24. And it came to pass after this that Benhadad, king of Syria, gathered all his hosts and went up and besieged Samaria. And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it until an ass head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and the fourth part of a cab of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver.
Now, again, it's not really talking about dove's dung. That crap come out of a dove. They be buying that. That's not what that is. When it says dove dung is a cheap vegetable, that's just what they called it. So it really wasn't dung at all. It's just a cheap vegetable. But it says, and the full part of a cab of dove dung for 5 pieces of silver. Even that was expensive. Go ahead, Brother Ted.
2 Kings chapter 6, verse 26. And as the king of Israel was passing by upon the wall, there cried a woman unto him, saying, Help, my master, O king. And he said, If Yahweh do not help thee, whence shall I help thee? Out of the barn floor or out of the winepress? And the king said unto her, What aileth thee? And she answered, This woman said unto me, Give thy son that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled my son and did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, Give thy son that we may eat him. And she has hid her son. And it came to pass when the king heard the words of the woman that he rent his clothes, and he passed by upon the wall, and the people looked, and behold, he had sackcloth within upon his flesh.
Now, that is one. Now, that was during the Assyrian siege of Samaria. Now, let's go to Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 10. Now, this is in the siege of the Babylonians that are besieging Jerusalem.
Oh, I'm wrong. I'm in Jeremiah. That ain't good. Lamentations chapter 4.
Lamentation chapter 4 and verse 10.
The hands of the pitiful women have sodden their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people.
Now, again, they had turned to cannibalism
Wow.
and eating their own children. They were so bad back in them days. My question is, though, was it a sin?
What?
Huh?
What?
Where is it in the law?
It's murder.
Huh?
It's murder.
It's murder?
You gotta kill the child before you eat it.
Huh?
That's just straight up murder.
I hear you,
You gotta
bless.
kill the child before you boil and eat it. You get it. Even if he's alive, you stick it in the water, you just killed it. That's murder. Thou shalt not kill. You just killed your child.
Elder, wouldn't it'd be a sin Because when going back to what he says, when you kill him, that whole thing is unclean, right? And Yahweh told us not to eat anything unclean.
Yeah. Yeah, it would make us unclean. But when put in the category of murder, you can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't specifically say, because how can you call it murder when it's the only way you can survive?
Well, like I say, we weren't there.
I mean, like I say, you weren't there, but I don't think everybody ate their children.
Hmm?
I don't think everybody ate their children.
Well,
I mean, you got Jeremiah was in the dungeon during the season of Babylon. He didn't eat no kids.
yeah, I know. We just got a couple of instances, two different timelines that actually happened to, that they were in such a siege by the enemy that they had no food, and so they had to eat their own children.
I get you.
Yeah. So in order to survive, they had to murder their children, and they stayed alive. So what happened to them? They have to die, right? Have to eating their children.
You know, Elder Yaakov made a point. He said, people have always eaten other people. Nations always been cannibalistic. He said, but we were the only people ate our own people.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was interesting when he threw that out.
yeah. What are you going to do? I mean, what people do when they don't have any food? They're under siege. No food coming in, and little children start to look better and better.
I think for the people that went through the starvation process and didn't eat their children, I guess they're a little more righteous in their normal acts for what was going on in the city.
So you're saying that if you refuse to eat your own child and die, that'll be better than.
I myself personally do, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, there's some people that probably went through that process and didn't die because the seeds wound up being over with. But Joe, you when you're hungry, ate your child, you just come kind of sin and plus sin because you're probably worshiping idols and doing all those things anyway. See what I'm saying? So, but, like, I don't think everybody ate their child, but those that did it, yeah, I mean, that's a child. I mean,
Well,
because later on if they get sent off, and they had the court system that said, okay, all of them ate their child, should they die? I mean,
well, there's another scenario. Well, the baby just died on his own.
Okay.
The child just died on his own. Now, would that be a sin if they ate it? I mean, the child started that, and he died. So would it be a sin to eat him?
You know what, Elder? Only thing I can say about that, if you get that hungry, you can't say what you want or what you want out there.
Yeah,
You can't say.
about wanting to stay alive.
Yeah. You don't know. And like we say, we wasn't back there.
No, we weren't back there. And the actual events, if you notice, in both events of 2 Kings chapter 6 and Lamentation chapter 4, these were women that were eating their children,
I didn't think about that.
their own children. You didn't hear about the men eating their children, but you heard about the women eating their children.
Women, you probably already ate the man, so man said, "Go on, you've been raising hell anyway. Just go and eat." I'm done. Put me out my misery.
So he volunteered. Go ahead, man.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 58.
Yeah.
If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, Yahweh thy Elohim, then Yahweh will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sicknesses, and of long continuance. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will Yahweh bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. And you shall be left few in number, whereas you were as the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou would have not obeyed the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass that as Yahweh rejoice over you to do you good and to multiply you, so Yahweh will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught. And you shall be plucked from off the land whither thou goest to possess it.
This is very, very serious.
Mhm.
When you look at this, it's hardcore here. All because our father refused to keep the commandments. Now, it shows you the seriousness of Yahweh's relationship with us, that it'd be so terrible for you not to keep the commandments that you couldn't stand it. Because look at all the things that would happen if you did refuse to keep these commandments. All these things are very harsh things. You don't hear about this happening to anybody else. But these are very terrible things that Yahweh put upon only one nation of people. Because nobody else have gone through these changes like we have. That's why we are byword and a proverb and an astonishment among the nation, because it's not happening to them. It's just happening to us. So where is this coming? It's coming from our God. Our God is a jealous God, right? And what ended up happening is that our father was brought over here as slaves. They bore the brunt of these curses. And so all the while our father, you look at, for instance, if they had kept these commandments, there wouldn't have been any drought in the land. Naomi and her husband and them two boys wouldn't have had to live in the land of Moab while the land wasn't producing anything. But the time came when they heard there was fresh harvest in the land, so they decided to come back. Naomi's husband died, and her two daughter-in-law, her two sons died, and Ruth came back with her, because they had heard that they had harvest in the land. So why did they have a drought in the land in the first place? So Yahweh said, I'm gonna bless you with the rain for your plants. So what happened that they didn't get no blessing of the rain? Somebody did something. And you go up into Jeremiah, they had a drought then. So, and they didn't have any rain. So you got to wonder, what was our father doing to bring, because that's a curse coming on our father. Yeah.
Or whatever they were doing, would it be safe to say that at the time those things came, it was a majority instead of minority that was doing those things that caused it? It became like a majority type situation where the numbers was
Well, everybody had to suffer because of a few people.
because most people, like the majority of people said it's just a few that was just a couple people in there, like the majority got the vote with the majority and amongst the rulers too, and the judges were majority, and that's why the situations came.
Yeah, you can look at that, but you gotta wonder why then the priests made intercession to Yahweh with sacrifices and offerings to take away the drought. Did the priests think in those terms? So all people, they knew the law, and so it seemed to me they should have offered up sacrifice to Yahweh and asked Yahweh why was the drought upon the people. But as we continue reading on in the prophet Jeremiah, we see why the drought came upon the people, because they're worshiping other gods, right? So we can imagine that probably the same thing happened to the times of Naomi and Ruth when they had to live in the land of Moab. Maybe that was part of the reason they had to leave town. But they don't make specific reasons why they had the drought. They said, they didn't have any rain. There was a drought over the land, so to live in the land of Moab. Moab was supposed to be our enemy,
Mhm.
but they must have been accommodating and say, hey, bad for y'all over there, y'all can stay here. We ain't mad at you. Yeah, man.
You know, it's getting a little off subject, but when those kids were getting killed back in late 70s on into the mid 80s, Nobody asks, you didn't hear nobody in the churches ask, why is this going on? Nobody said nothing.
Yeah, I know.
It's when somebody get caught, and that's normal. But nobody question, say, what's going on here?
Brand new.
Yeah. You kind of, that shows you, now if that happened back during this time in certain situations in the Bible, people would have inquired, wouldn't?
Yeah.
But they didn't think about it. Just
Yeah, well, back in the 70s, 80s, they knew they really didn't have a way to find out what's going on there. And JC wasn't helping them.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They didn't call on JC.
Yeah, yeah, that's the white man God though. I mean, you have the white man. Yeah, that would help us. Let folks just kill us and get away with it when we still love ourselves some JC. Yeah. Go ahead, man.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64. And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Now, you know what that verse reminds me of? Even though it's against the law for our fathers worshiping another God, but he said in verse 64, and Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. That sounds like what happened when the church of Israel murmured against Moshe about not having any meat to eat,
Oh, okay.
right? And so Moshe asked Yahweh, how much, how are you going to feed these people, right? He said, I don't give them enough meat, not for 1 day or 2 days
Mhm.
or 3 days, but how long is the week? For
A month.
about a month,
Hmm.
right? So that he overfed them. And in one case, he uh, while the meat was still in the mouth, they died. Plague broke forth on them. So he overfed them. So we're looking at the same thing here. Uh, we are worshiping all the gods of the nation now, especially JC. So yeah, that fits us. Because that's not our God. He don't even look like us. But that's the only God we know. Yeah, go ahead. And we just make up stories about him and say, well, this is what he did for us, and this is what he do for you, so that you can get that blessing for JC. So you ain't about doing what he tell you to do, because they got a God that don't tell you what to do. You got to pray to him for a blessing, never for forgiveness. Go ahead, brother Seth.
Yeah, now, another thing, you made that point, brother. It's not written where they even prepared that food or not. Remember you said they ate that, they might have ate it raw.
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. When the people ate all that quail, yeah, they got choked on them. And Yahweh killed them while the food was in the mouth. So you're right about that. They may not even cook them quail. Right. Go ahead, brother Stephen. Read verse 64 again.
And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Mm-hmm.
And among these nations shall thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, would Elohim it were even, and at even thou shalt say, would Elohim were it morning. For the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spoke unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
And in verse 65 down to verse 68, that's talking about us in America.
Mm.
Right? Who else has gone through this? I mean, just look at what's happened to our people since we've been here. Then look at what's written in the Bible. Say, who else could this be? You can't say that this never happened. It happened right here in America, and Yahweh made sure that this book was in America when we got here. We couldn't read the book, but nevertheless, the book was here. White folks had it. And so when it's time for us to read it, that it took over 400 years for us to read this book.
Mm.
Now we know that there are some Israelite, not Israelite, but Jew brothers that are Jews that have been here a long time. I mean, you go back to I think it's in Kentucky in 1899. You had the first black uh, Jew congregation. I forgot the guy's name. But nevertheless, when not long after we had the Emancipation Proclamation, that's when the Jews started coming together and having their own congregation. But they modeled it after Esau. They modeled it after Christianity. So it wasn't perfect, but they knew that they were the Jews. That's one step. So when you look at in verse 65, it says, "Among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart, and a fetting of eyes, and salt of mind." That's what that happened to us while we were slaves, and while we were trying to register to vote. They had the Ku Klux Klan burning crosses in our yard. Um, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. Thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. That's us here in the South. Actually, all over America. In the morning thou shalt say with Elohim, and with even, that even thou shalt say with Elohim, and with morning, for the fear of thine heart, wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. So when they showed us, they let us see them brothers and sisters hanging from trees and wouldn't take them down. And so I think recently they found somebody, I forgot what state it was in, Mississippi, they found it was a white boy. Well, this one I saw was a white boy. They found him hanging in the tree.
Wow.
Yeah. Now they said somebody black in Mississippi.
College, local state, university. And somebody in Vicksburg.
Brother?
This one was in college though,
Well, I know they ain't doing nothing about it. They ain't investigating the thing, man. That's Mississippi, bro. They probably surprised they lived that long. The COVID died. Where you think you at, man? This is Mississippi.
That's where the devil's punch bowl.
What?
The devil's punch bowl is in Mississippi.
The Devil's Punch Bowl?
Yeah.
Is that in Mississippi? No, Mississippi.
I drove through.
Natchez, Mississippi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, they got to answer for that. Because I don't think anybody want to even buy the property over there at the Devil's Punch Bowl. They won't build over there.
They say they grows peaches. But they won't eat the peaches from
They won't even eat the peaches from that.
From human fertilizer.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they're going to answer for what they did. See, the thing is, white folks like to say, well, that wasn't us. Well, we look in the Bible in First Samuel when Samuel told Saul to go kill off all them Amalekites. Now, them Amalekites didn't do nothing to us, but their forefather did. So same thing got to happen to white folks here. I'm sorry, your father did that to us. So y'all got to answer. Hey, we don't pay our dues, now you got to pay ours.
I was going to mention that curse they said that we won't prosper in our enemy's land. We have not prospered now as a people.
No, nah, we are in our enemy's land. So what do you think they're gonna let you do?
That's all over the world.
Yeah. Well, when you look at, for instance, there are other people that come to America that make more money than white people.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't got no problem with that for some reason. You got the Indians over here. They make more money than white people. the Asians,
Mm-hmm.
they make more money than white people, but black people are jealous of white people. Well, how come you ain't jealous of Indians? They make more money than white people. Huh?
That curse is something else that how people hate white people anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this white folk land,
Yeah.
so they do what they want in their own land. So
It's the same thing when they go here, they flooded that area, they killed all of them.
Lake Lanier, yeah, I just learned about
what's that now?
Lake Lanier.
What is it?
Lake for Black.
Lake Lanier? Oh yeah. That used to be black people land, right? Now it's easy for you to die in Lake Lanier. Got a whole lot of people dying up in there. But yeah, that used to be black people land. I think they flooded it, right?
Yeah.
They still got them town underwater, right? Yeah. Yeah, they got an answer for that too. Yeah. I mean, granted, this is their land, they do with it what they want, but you did it to Yahweh's people, though. He jealous of his people. Yeah. So yeah, white folks, y'all got to answer for your forefathers.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the Malachites had an answer for their forefathers after 400 years, right? 400 years later. Well, look at us now, 400 years later.
Well, look at us.
Y'all ain't forgotten that.
Like they said, we didn't do this. But Yahweh go just like in this book. We didn't have nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
But Yahweh got us. He didn't
Yeah.
get them.
Yeah.
Our ancestors, they got off with a lot of things, but his wrath, he took it out on us.
Yeah.
I mean, you got people coming over here strapped down in the bottom of ships. Those people have to be terrified.
Yeah.
A lot of our people, like you say, they know, and they, one guy was telling me about us setting up a Hebrew church. I say, yeah, they set that up back in the late 1890s, but they probably was calling on JC. They
Yeah.
probably had it mixed in.
Yeah.
Yeah, just off in the paganism. They did the best they could.
Yeah. I know that. But at least they tried.
Yeah.
Now I know they got the Moorish temple up in New York. I think they call themselves Jews too.
Hmm.
They're linked themselves to the Jews, but I think they believe that they're Jews, but they're religious Jews. But they got them fezzes, walk around with them fezzes. But they've been under there for a very long time. But they have Sabbath services. But you don't hear nothing about them. They don't make no noise. It's like they try to get along with everybody up there so they don't get in no trouble. Yeah. Go ahead, Brother Shepard.
Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 1. These are the words of the covenant which Yahweh commanded Moshe to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab, beside the covenant which he made with them in Horeb. And Moshe called unto all Israel and said unto them, you have seen all that Yahweh did before your eyes in the land of Egypt unto Pharaoh and unto all his servants and unto all his land, the great temptations which thine eyes have seen, the signs and those great miracles. Yet Yahweh have not given you an heart to perceive and eyes to see and ears to hear until this day.
You see what Moshe is saying? You've been up there 40 years. You still don't understand who it is and what it is you're dealing with here. So we got the same thing here, right? They look at us like we crazy, but we starting to see some things in this book that even our father didn't get to see. But then we look at, you add what our father saw in the law to what the Mashiach said, and he magnified the law. You put that together, we see a little bit more in the law than our father did. Now, again, they didn't have eyes to a heart to hear, eyes to see, ears to hear until that day. They still didn't understand who it is they were dealing with and what it is they were dealing with. So they're probably acting a fool out there and say, y'all still don't see. In verse 5, look at what it says. And I have led you 40 years in the wilderness. Your clothes are not waxing old upon you, and thy shoe is not waxing old upon thy foot. They didn't question that. Why didn't our clothes get old these 40 years? We're wearing the same clothes we came out of Egypt with 40 years later. How is that possible? Now, they didn't have a seamstress back in those days that made them clothes real tight. So we talking about clothes loosely fitting for 40 years and didn't wax old. So that's something they should look at and ask, why did our clothes get old? Seems like to me, if our clothes, we wear the same clothes when we get into the promised land, we need to save them bad boy, put them away, and make some money someday. So yeah, these are clothes we wore. My great granddaddy wore this out there in the wilderness. So you got to pay some money for this, buddy. So yeah, they can use it for an asset. Look at have you read the book of Jasher? Have you read that book? I think there's a story in there that has Esau has found Adam's clothing, right? And he's wearing it, but it's something very valuable. And I think it was somebody that coveted them clothes. Who was it? Was it Balaam?
Very first, a lot of you might have honored
You talking about Nimrod?
here.
He had it first. Yeah, yeah,
It gave me the clothes gave you power. Make you clothes.
yeah. There's some kind of power in them clothes, right? Yeah. So I mean, that's just in the book of Jasher. So and it's very well written. I hand to whoever wrote it. It's very well written because it coincides with our story here in the book of Exodus. But it doesn't go back to the edition. Didn't go back to 1830. Yeah, so it's suspect at the least because you hear the book of Jasher being mentioned in the scriptures, but it's not the same book of Jasher. Even like I like reading it because I can compare. I can easily read that and compare what I've already known, what I already read in a book, and they line up. It's just like they left that story that you read in Jasher, our father's experience while they were in Egypt. Some of that was untold, and Jasher somehow wrote it down and said this is what was not being told in the book of Exodus. So you know it's still kind of suspect anyway, because in the book of Jasher, what you have is uh, Job on the scene in Egypt,
Hmm.
and you have Balaam on the scene in Egypt. Now that's in the book of Jasher. How'd they get there? Right? Job suggested killing all the male Hebrews. That's in the book of Jasher.
That's interesting.
Job.
Because I commandment.
Yeah. So you know it's suspect. Then you have Balaam. So since that didn't work with Job, they had Balaam suggest putting men child in the Nile River. That's Balaam. All that's in the book of Jasher. So yeah, it's good reading, but it clashes with the personalities we have in the Bible already with Job. Job was a perfect man in Yahweh's sight. So
Does it talk about T-Rod's father in there also?
T-Rod's father was T-Rod and Jasher. I don't recall seeing one.
That's the explains about they got killed. You know, they threw Abraham in the fire. You know, his brother fell in the fire too. You know what I mean? And it goes back. It brings out. I can't remember exactly this one also I read it, but it goes back to idol worshiping and stuff and making idols and Abraham taught idols when he was a little kid. Then Abraham broke down idol father. But I think I think it talks about Shem and Eber, they had a school. Joseph was in the tent. That's what he was going to school with them, studying with them. You know, that type of stuff. So like I can't remember the details of the business I read, but
Yeah. If it wasn't so contradictory to what we know about what's written in the book, It'd be recreational reading to me. Because I would read the pseudepigrapha. Not pseudepigrapha, the apocrypha. I consider that recreational reading.
Mm-hmm.
Because first of all, it's not scripture, nor does it talk about eternal life in the apocrypha. So if you understand this book, then yeah, go ahead and read it recreational read, but don't try to put them together. You can't put this book with the apocrypha, nor with the pseudepigrapha. They contradict one another. So, for instance, in the apocrypha, you had the book of Enoch, right? Well, the book of Enoch got the names of a bunch of angels.
Uh-oh.
We ain't got but two names in the Bible. And you got some angels say, why are you asking me my name? But you got a bunch of angel names in the book of Enoch. Yeah. Yeah, that's suspect too. But they try to put that with this book here. You can't do that. Yahweh put it in the hand of these white folk. He put it in their heart. Don't put that apocrypha up in there, even though it's in the Septuagint. But later on, they decided to take that part of the Bible out. People are upset about it because they're like they're missing something. No, if you take that apocrypha and read it separately, it doesn't have anything to do with the original text here. So yeah, it's suspect. But like I say, the only book in the apocrypha that would be useful for you would be First and Second Maccabees, so that you can see where you can get where the Greek Empire was on the scene, and you get the idea of Maccabees fighting against the Greek Empire. But you don't get that in the scriptures here. You go from Malachi to Matthew, but you skip the Greek Empire. Because in Malachi, you got the Persian ruling. But they don't say nothing about what happened when the Greeks showed up. Yeah. But go ahead, let's finish with that verse, Stephanie.
Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 6. You have not eaten bread, neither have you drunk wine or strong drink, that you might know that I am Yahweh, your Elohim.
Mm-hmm.
And when you came unto this place, Sihon, the king of Heshbon, and Og, the king of Bashan, came out against us unto battle, and we smote them. And we took their land and gave it for an inheritance unto the Reubenites, and to the Gadites, and to the half tribe of Manasseh.
Mm-hmm.
Keep therefore the words of this covenant, and do them, that you may prosper in all that you do. You stand this day, all of you, before Yahweh, your Elohim, your captains of your tribes, your elders and your officers, with all the men of Israel, your little ones, your wives, and our stranger that is in thy camp, from the hewer of thy wood unto the drawer of thy water, that thou should have entered into covenant with Yahweh thy Elohim, and into his oath, which Yahweh thy Elohim maketh with thee this day, that he may establish thee today for a people unto himself, and that he may be unto thee a God, as he hath said unto thee, and as he hath sworn unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. Neither with you only do I make this covenant and this oath, but with him that standeth here with us to this day before Yahweh our Elohim, and also with him that is not here with us this day. For you know how we have dwelt in the land of Egypt, and how we came through the nations which you passed by, and you have seen their abominations and their idols, wood and stone, silver and gold, which were among them, lest there shall be among you man or woman or family or tribe, whose heart turneth away this day from Yahweh our Elohim, to go and serve the gods of these nations, lest there should be among you a root that beareth gall and wormwood. And it shall come to pass, when he heareth the words of this curse, that he bless himself in his heart, saying, I shall have peace, though I walk in the imagination of mine heart, to add drunkenness to thirst. Yahweh will not spare him. But then the anger of Yahweh and his jealousy shall smoke against that man, and all the curses that are written in this book shall lie upon him, and Yahweh shall blot out his name from under heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahweh shall separate him unto evil out of all the tribes of Israel, according to all the curses of the covenant that are written in this book of the law, so that the generation to come of your children that shall rise up after you, and the stranger that shall come from a far land shall say, when they see the plagues of that land and the sicknesses which Yahweh have laid upon it, and that the whole land thereof is brimstone and salt and burning, that is not sown, nor beareth, nor any grass grow up therein, like the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zeboim, which Yahweh overthrew in his anger and in his wrath, even all nations shall say, why have Yahweh done thus unto this land? What meaneth the heat of this great anger? Then men shall say, because they have forsaken the covenant of Yahweh Elohim of their fathers, which he made with them when he brought them forth out of the land of Egypt. For they went and served other gods and worshiped them, gods whom they knew not, and whom he had not given unto them. And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against this land to bring upon it all the curses that are written in this book. And Yahweh rooted them out of their land in anger and in wrath and in great indignation, and cast them into another land as it is this day. The secret things belong unto Yahweh our Elohim, but those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither Yahweh thy Elohim have driven thee, and shall return unto Yahweh thy Elohim, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that then Yahweh thy Elohim will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all nations, from all the nations, whither Yahweh thy Elohim have scattered thee.
Now look again, look who he's talking to here in verse 1. He says, and it shall come to pass when all of these things that come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither Yahweh thy Elohim have driven thee. So when you look at when our fathers first came over here as slaves, it wasn't meant for them to know what this was all about. First of all, white folks wouldn't let them read anyway. They may have known who they were, but they couldn't pass that knowledge down to their children. And so this had to happen after that's been all over with. And we see that when these things come to our mind, well, the slave didn't think the curse they were under curse. They were just slaves. So it didn't occur to them that this all this was coming from Yahweh, from God, if you will. So now we see, after reading these all of Deuteronomy 28, yeah, that's us. And look what it says. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing. I don't know about the blessing because I don't see much blessing among our fathers. But the curse, it says, and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whether Yahweh the Elohim have driven thee. That means we have to have a book to let us know that we've been on the curse. And we look at the book, we look at us and look at our experience here and say, yeah, that's us. Now it's come calling to mind, right? And shall return unto Yahweh the Elohim, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, and with all thine heart, with all thy soul, that then Yahweh thy Elohim will turn thy captivity and will have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations with Yahweh thy Elohim have scattered thee. So this is the writing of the new covenant that Yahweh made, not the new covenant, but the other covenant that Yahweh made with our fathers, beside the one that he made at Horeb in Mount Sinai. This is another covenant in Moab, in the land of Moab. All right, go ahead, Brother Samuel.
Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 4. If any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will Yahweh thy Elohim gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee, and Yahweh thy Elohim shall bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And Yahweh thy Elohim will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed to love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahweh thy Elohim will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
Mm.
And thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yahweh and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. And Yahweh thy Elohim will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land for good. For Yahweh will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy fathers.
Mm-hmm.
If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim, to keep his commandments and his statutes which are written in this book of the law, and if thou turn unto Yahweh thy Elohim with all thine heart and with all thy soul.
Mm-hmm.
But this commandment which I command thee this day, it is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven that thou shouldst say, who shall go up for us to heaven and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it? Neither is it beyond the sea that thou shouldst say, who shall go over the sea for us and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it? But the word is very near unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, that thou mayest do it. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil, in that I command thee this day to love Yahweh thy Elohim, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And Yahweh thy Elohim shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away and worship other gods and serve them, I denounce unto you this day that you shall surely perish, and that you shall not prolong your days upon the land whither thou passest over Jordan to go to possess it.
Mm-hmm.
I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live, that thou mayest love Yahweh thy Elohim, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him. For he is thy life, and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which Yahweh sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them.
Okay, Brother Stephen, I'm gonna stop right there. It's next chapter kind of big. And I don't want to rush through it. So I'm gonna wait till next week. Yahweh willing, we'll pick it up in chapter 31. But before we dismiss, does anyone have any questions? No questions? All right, let's see here. I have Elder Tobiah on Facebook at the top.
Yep.
Okay. Shalom, Elder Tobiah. Shalom, Brother Yaakov. Shalom, Elder Simeon. Shalom, Brother Eliyahu ben Israel. Shalom, Elder Hiram. Elder Hiram said he's tired of the hospital, man.
Back in there?
He had to go earlier this week.
Yeah. Still in there?
No, yeah. Yeah. He don't want to go back, though. Shalom, Isha Yasharala. Shalom, Brother Yosef. Shalom, Susie Garman. Shalom, Sister Naraya. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right. That's Nira. Is that the way she pronounced her name? Nira or Naraya? That's not spelled correctly again. Shalom, Lonely Redwood. Shalom, Brother Abraham. Shalom, Shalom, Brother Malachi. Shalom, Gregory Rugger. Shalom, Sister Malaka, Banif Yasharala. Shalom, Brother Adawan, Ben Yasharala. Shalom, Edra Ben Israel. Shalom, Brother Adrian Davis. Glad to see you doing better, man.
Shalom, Adrian.
Yeah, let's say shalom, Brother Adrian.
Shalom.
Huh?
I will say shalom.
Okay. Shalom, Big Zach say shalom also. Shalom, Brother Mickey Anderson. Shalom, Elder, is that mildew cancer? I think you're talking about the curses in Deuteronomy 28. Let me see here. Let's see. Did he give it the verse? No, it didn't give the verse.
He put it up, the one who was talking about it.
Let's see. I'm trying to find it. $23,
Verse 22, I'm sorry.
$22. Yeah, I see it. You say Yahweh shall smite thee with a consumption and with a fever and with an inflammation and with an extreme burning and with the sword and with blasting and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. I don't think that word mildew fits the word fits cancer, because you got different types of cancer, and you can maybe use it as an umbrella term for different types of cancer, but I don't think it's referring to cancer in that particular verse. Mildew. What does mildew do today? It's some type of fungus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I think mildew and other stuff like that. Come on, you ought to know this is meso, what you call that? Meso, what do you call it? I forget the name of it, but it causes that. The problem with your lungs and everything. Yeah. Not really cancer.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think they had it.
Meso, yeah, I think that's what that mildew causes. I think that's what it causes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's mildew, Brother Mickey. I don't think that's cancer. Shalom So Real 500. Shalom of the Ezra ben Israel. Elder, you brought number 622. I like the one at 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people which are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. You're absolutely right, Brother Ezra. That's exactly what he was talking about in Numbers chapter 6. The people that are called by his name, yeah, that show you who was called by his name. Shalom Morning Crisp. Shalom Judah. If one reads all the Deuteronomy and they don't see themselves in that, I don't know what else you could say at that point. Yahweh really has to talk to them, in my opinion. You're absolutely right. Because you and I could show them these things all day long, but if Yahweh don't want them to see it, they can't see it. I'm sorry. I mean, it's frustrating because we can see it, but they can't. I mean, it's pointing to them straight in the face. They still can't see it. I find that amazing. It shows the power of Yahweh to open up the eyes who he wants to open up and shut the eyes he don't want to open up.
When people don't see certain things like something like do represent people obvious, maybe we might wake them up later, but at this point, will they have something to do with their heart? You always see something not right in their heart at that particular point, maybe their heart might be a little white, so open their eyes, but do you think it has something to do with their heart?
Well, let me put it like this. When I first started seeing El Yaakov on television, I saw that this was a man that really knew the book, but I changed the channel because I wasn't in that frame of mind to listen to what this man had to say. So what I didn't realize is that Yahweh planted that seed in me, so that later on I would want to come and hear this man talk. So that's what happens when people don't want to hear you. You planted that seed. and later Yahweh come along and water it. So that just because they can't hear you now, that don't mean they ain't gonna ever hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how that thing works, especially when you never heard nothing like this before. It sounds incredible, but as time goes on, Yahweh make it a way for you to find out a little bit more of what you're talking about. Yeah, man.
One of the things I learned that was very important by reading this book, I learned, I was instructed that I could not read this book with a Christian mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And
they don't know it.
I understood that.
Yeah.
When you hear this truth, it did what it did to me. It overwhelms you
Yeah.
because you've been thought of a nobody. Even
Right.
yourself, you don't think much of yourself the way you've been beat down.
Right.
And once you hear the truth, it's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of hard.
It's amazing that we're written about in this book that was written thousands of years ago and translated. Yeah.
And Saul and Acts, I was that woman, this woman. And he said, had Yahweh done away with his people? He had not done away with his
That's
people.
right.
Did you for you?
Right.
Right.
And I had heard a Christian say years ago, God did away with his people. Christians is his new people now.
Well, I know, but how else you think they can gain power? And they put up what they call that replacement theology. So they replace the children of Israel. They're the chosen people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're the chosen people, and then make it, then going back to Deuteronomy, talking about what he did to the land. Do you feel like the people that's in the land and around the land understand that it's barren because of what Yahweh people did? But they've been replaced by the Christians, and then to the people, the land should come back together, right? But they ain't doing that, so they can't. You know what I mean? Sometimes the land still ain't reacting.
Do they read that in part of that in the Bible? Are they stuck on Paul, bro? Yeah, they ain't gonna only read the Gospels.
Do you think the people that's around the land, like Arab and all those people that's around the land, or even some people within the land, understand that the land is not fruitful and stuff because that real Jews are not here. You think people around the land understand that?
First of all, they know who we are,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they can see the effect that these people are having on the land, that something wrong with the relationship with the people in the land. So they've been there 80 years, and the land has not been fertile. The water's not clean. So they're probably scratching their heads, say, how, y'all supposed to be God's people. So what is the problem? You always at war. You ain't had no peace since you've been over there. The land won't produce. And they probably scratching their head. Y'all say y'all the Jews, but y'all don't act like no Jews. So they don't know the book. I mean, they don't know that the land wasn't going to produce for them since they're not the people of the book. And they're trying to make that land work for them, but you're still not the people of the book. You don't have any relationship to that land. You got your own land. That's in Mount Seir. So you go over there with Petra, over the Mount Seir, you go over there and live and see if that produces for you, because you're not supposed to be in our land. But they have to be there though,
Mm-hmm.
so that Daniel chapter 7 will come to pass. Verse 18.
Yeah.
Somebody got to be there for us to take the land back from.
Say what Moab and Moab and Ammon got escaped
Yeah.
from that pole.
Yeah.
You know, it's the thing of it is this thing wasn't done in a corner by our people. The whole world know our history. And that's amazing how Yahweh allowed them. It's hush hush. Everybody just keeping this thing to themselves. And they're
Yeah.
just finding out.
That's another power. We got
Yeah.
to look at Yahweh having, man, that he kept people from telling us who we are. I mean, they can tell us who we are, but that don't mean we're going to believe it.
That's true.
Yeah. So that in and of itself, but then we are Yahweh glory in that we believe. He opened up our eyes and we can see it very clearly, but not for the most of the 30 or 40 million black people in America. They can't see this. Uh, yeah, you're right there. You're right there, Judah Yah. We found it amazing, man. But maybe, I mean, like Maybe one day Yahweh will have mercy on it and open up their eyes. And that's where you come in, Judah Yah, because you could be one of the he-goats before the flock. Shalom, Clarence Marks and Sister Yolita. Shalom, Melinda Curry. Shalom, Dynasty Patton. Question, where can I read to know the difference between the Edomites and the Gentile? Very curious. What is the difference? Edomites come from Esau, correct? Yes. But you have to understand how Esau works. Esau and Edom are the same people. But when Esau left his father, Isaac, to go get married, he married Canaanite women.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, if you look at where the Canaanites dwelt, today you would call them Africans,
Mm-hmm.
because Esau always intermarried with power and wealth. So you look at what he's doing today, he looks like white people because he's married power and wealth. So he looks white, but he does not identify himself as white.
That's right.
He stays away from white people and has his own communities,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you can't tell the difference between them and white people, except by their religion. So you don't see white people worshiping, practicing Judaism. You don't see Esau practice Christianity. Uh, so there's no difference between Edomites and Esau. They're the same people. But again, if you go back to, for instance, during the time of the gospel, when you had King Herod and Philip Herod, they intermingled with the Greeks and then the Romans, so they started looking white. And so they stayed that way, even when they got kicked out of the land and ended up in Europe. They intermingled with the people over there. And the thing about that, and I got this in my sermon, is that if uh, ethnicity is governed by the mother.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you wiped out Esau just that quick. Because if the mother is an Edomite and the father's the Gentile, that child that they have is a Gentile. So they still call themselves Jewish. They ain't Jewish, but they're now Gentile. They're the religious converts. They admit that themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're religious converts. So yeah, they look like white people. So Dynasty Patton, but they don't identify as white people.
You know, on the Sandy Springs, you can see it too, because your pockets where Esau lived, everything is numbered there. You know, what was just in their own pocket just then, the schools, the middle school, all that stuff is right there together. We're all together.
Yeah,
No other people mixed in.
white folks don't roll that way, do they? Right. Huh?
They don't act like white folks.
Right. Right. They're very tribal
Yeah.
minded. So that makes it. Look at the behavior of these people. Dynasty Patton. You see the difference between the behavior of white people and the behavior of those Edomites. That's how you tell them apart. Shalom Rachel by Israel. Shalom Aya. Shalom Brother Hodiah. Shalom Julius Brown. Shalom Brother Alahayam and Sister Malaka. Shalom Brother Alahayam Ben Yasharala. Praise Yah. Shalom Trey Kingfish Minor. Shalom Jimmy O'More. Shalom Ezra Ben Israel. Elder Stephen mentioned those slave ships. More people died in those slave ships than in those concentration camps. I recall Elder Yaakov saying they first said 1 million, but went to 7 million. Well, I've been hearing that those people sort of reduced the number of people that were killed in the Holocaust. Yeah, they went from 6 million to, I think, 3 million. Then they dropped it down another 2.5 million.
I like my inquisitive white people that put you to task on that. They study stuff. So I remember, like I said, several times, University of Georgia, 1988, I'm about 35 years old, hadn't been in this word that long. It says Holocaust, fact or fiction. They had no bulletin board down at that university.
Mm-hmm.
ALCU went down there. Y'all take this down. Made them, ALCU.
Oh yeah, that's him.
Yeah, went down there, made them took it down.
Yeah, yeah.
But them students, they said, we don't believe that.
So what happened?
They eventually took it down. You know the power they got. But you got people questioning them. Say, well, if it's 6-7 million people, they really shouldn't be around here.
Right.
Never been that many people on the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But lately they've been revising that number down.
But you know what else? It's funny how Yahweh got that thing set up. They less than what 1% of the population of the earth. But you'll see them everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And they're over there in South America, Middle East, China, Ham land. That's amazing.
Yeah, well, these are very focused people. They ain't like white people. White people run helter skelter, but these people got their mind already made up of what they're gonna do, how they're gonna do it. From hundreds of years ago, they don't figure this thing out, man. So they think ahead, so you can't take that from them. But yeah, they still the synagogue of Satan. Uh,
You tell them, take it down.
and they hate white people.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? They look white, you hate white people.
They say they real methodical.
You're very methodical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right, Brother Ezra. Shalom, repentant Judah. Shalom, again. Praise job, Brother Mickey Anderson. Ella, what Brother Stephen said was profound. In these, I guess, YNs out here killing themselves, knew who they are, they wouldn't be killing each other. We have work to do. Shalom, Brother Derek Walker. You know what it means when they say YNs? I'm asking Steve.
Oh. I'm taking a guess what, young Negroes?
One nigga,
Not quite Negroes.
Yeah. He just said, yeah. YN, that's a new one, bro.
Yeah, hey, you got to keep up with it, bro. Yeah,
I'm old school.
me too, man. I still remember the rotary dial, bro. What's that? I don't have anybody after Derek Walker. All right, so let's go ahead. Shut it down. All right, Facebook, YouTube, go ahead. I give you 5 seconds to send me something. Oh, let me not forget, we have the Feast of Trumpets this coming weekend, Saturday evening. We invite you out to the Feast of Trumpets. That'll be the beginning of our holy days as we come toward the end of the year. We got Feast of Trumpets, we got the Day of Atonement, and we got the Feast of Tabernacles coming up. So check your calendars if you got one, or go to our website and look at the calendar that we have up on our website, and you can see for yourself what day we'll be celebrating these feast days on. We're glad to have you. I know most of you cannot come to them, but you can tune us in on Facebook and YouTube, and you can watch us from there. So I'm gonna go ahead and clock us out of here. Again, thank you, Facebook. Thank you, YouTube, for joining us tonight. Yahweh bless you and keep you. Shalom.